Hello everyone, this is Physics 101 on fluid mechanics. So this lesson is on hydrostatics. So we will first tackle hydrostatics, which means fluids at rest. And then after we have finally discussed hydrostatics, we will move on to hydrodynamics, which is fluids that are moving. So let's start first with hydrostatics. So fluid mechanics. What is a fluid? So a fluid is anything that flows and it's either liquid or gas. So it does not have any definite shape. So how do we describe a fluid? So we can describe it using its mass. But since in fluid mechanics we are more interested in the densities of different objects combining, it is of interest to rather describe it in terms of rho v. So this came from the equation rho equals mass over volume. Then mass can be described also as rho v. So we will transition from mass using mass to density times volume. Okay, so when we talk about the weight of a fluid, we are also saying that it is equal to its mass times g. But previously we have defined mass to be rho v, so the weight of a fluid is also equal to rho v or mass times g. So now that we have defined the fluid in terms of rho v, how about forces acting on a fluid? So first, let us recall a rigid object. So for example, this is a rigid object. So when you apply a force on a rigid object, it will move in the direction of the force applied. But say for example, if we apply a force on a fluid, it will not necessarily move on the amount of force applied. So we are more interested in how the force is distributed in a certain area of the fluid. So this quantity of force per area is the pressure. So we are much more interested in pressure rather than the individual force. So the fluid pressure is equal to the force applied in the fluid per area on which the force is applied. So let's talk about atmospheric pressure. So the atmosphere is made of gas, hence it is a fluid. So this fluid exerts a pressure to us. So for example, you are standing here in this ground. So the fluid from all the particles, the air particles, exerts pressure to you in all directions. So that is the property of objects submerged in fluids. They experience, let me write it down, objects submerged in fluids experience pressure in all directions. So whether or not you are standing down or lying down, Earth's atmosphere always exerts a pressure to you in all directions. So hindi lang dito sa ulo, it is also exerted sideways. So this is how we study fluid mechanics. So we will be dealing with, we will transition from mg to rho vg, and then force we will be using now fluid pressure.